Hi guys, welcome to a P3D version 5 video. We are once again reverting back to P3D after one flight in X-Plane. Today we are flying something completely different, also a request aircraft. We're flying the Antonov An-225 by FlyFreeStd. I think they're called FlyFree, let me check, FlyFreeStd. I'm not sure what the STD stands for in that name, but yeah, that's the name of the developer for this aircraft. And this kind of begins my Russian slash Soviet slash Ukrainian planes series. And this is a Soviet plane, I think, built in. Trying to figure out where it was built, but probably in Ukraine. Probably in Kiev, right? Because that's where it got destroyed then during the invasion by Russia back in 2022. So I thought it was also appropriate to don the Ukrainian livery for that. Or is this the? Let me see. Is this the Antonov livery? I'm wondering which airline, or if it even flew for an airline. Yeah, Antonov Airlines. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, we're donning that livery today. In terms of the aircraft itself, pretty nice. Hull of very good, not simulation level, but pretty goddamn good. I haven't seen too many videos of the IndyBuilds one in Microsoft Flight Sim, but I'm guessing this is kind of at the same level. Maybe in some aspects better, some aspects worse. But I haven't really had too much of a look at that, unfortunately. You have this one configurator with some things you can choose between Russian and English. We're gonna keep Russian just to be more aligned with how the cockpit really looks in practice. And then I guess we can open something. I'm gonna move this to the right. We'll open the main cargo door. That's pretty cool. You can also open the left door. Then we can change kind of the interior payload. But as you can see, the exterior looks pretty nice. No complaints in that regard. The interior is also very good, I must say. Probably the best Russian aircraft or airliner cargo transport aircraft from the Soviet times. If I use Russian, it's to be synonymous with Soviet. I don't know why I should actually use Ukrainian, but yeah, I'm gonna try to stick to Soviet since when this was created, it was a Soviet aircraft. But yeah, it's probably the best Soviet airplane in terms of the cockpit, actually, in terms of how it looks, the texture. Maybe the Antonov 2 by Simwings, I think. Antonov 2 by 80 Simulations, sorry. 80 Simulations. It has some say in being maybe nicer on the inside, but that one is kind of in another league, right? A bit smaller airplane. Sorry about that. So yeah, you can see we have opened the front, getting that cargo door open and lowered, and you can see the plane kind of lowers its nose. So that's pretty cool. And it's also cool that you kind of get, like, you have some of the exterior simulated from the interior, which I always like. The only thing you don't have is the wings, so once you're flying you can't really see the large engines from the cockpit, so that's a bit sad. But could be worse. Let's see, I don't think I have a GSX profile for this one. I haven't tried setting it up, I'm not really sure how to do it with the front. I think you can set a door ladder. Well, let me check, not really sure. In terms of payload, I think you can choose between different. You can have some BWPs or BMPs, whatever they're called, tanks. You can have an airplane fuselage, looks like one of the modern Antonovs. But I think we're just going to do with the container and cases for this time. You can do truck also, so that's pretty cool. Let's do container and cases. For the exterior, this is really cool. You can have the Buran, the Max OS Molnia, the Max Tank, the Max T, the Hotel. So that's yeah, that's pretty cool. We're just gonna go without it, just clean look. In terms of payload manager, you don't have that, I think. No, nothing specific, so I just set it up through the P3D fuel planner. I think we had a specific payload through SimBrief, but I didn't want to risk it, so I didn't really increase too much. I put like a pretty good, like 40% fuel. So quite a bit of fuel actually. Let's have a look actually how much fuel that is. Oh yeah, 308,000 pounds. That's a lot of fuel. And this is a short flight. So we're flying here from the Simwings Hamburg airport to Amsterdam. And I was trying to find an airport with long runways, because this one needs quite a long one. Hamburg probably wasn't the good one. There was like really no parking spots, so I just picked this one as it looked somewhat reasonable. But Amsterdam should be more sufficient in that regard. But yeah, I mean, look at this. It's huge, right? 6 engines. Yeah, not you can't have too many engines. But yeah, it's a beautiful aircraft. The Soviets and slash the Ukrainians did a good job in this regard. And let's see if there's anything else I should mention. Yeah, Flight Tampa, that's the payware add-on I have for Amsterdam, or for the Schiphol airport, Amsterdam airport. Then I do have Orbex North Germany, and then I have True Earth Netherlands. So it should be quite a nice look once we fly into the Netherlands, at least in terms of the scenery. The weather also looks pretty nice, so that's cool to see a bit of clouds, which is always nice. But let's get started, because this will be quite a process. And I've also loaded a flight plan within the sim, so hopefully that works. We shall see. I'm not too optimistic, but we'll fly VOR otherwise. I think I can get that to work. Worst case scenario, we'll fly heading based, and I'll follow pilot to ADC. But let's see. So we're now on the inside, and you have a huge cockpit, right? You have the pilot, co-pilot, the engineer station, electrical station, you have the navigator. I mean, just a lot of different roles. I'm not sure if they use all of them or if they have like one person here, one person there, but yeah, this is almost on the level of a spaceship, right? I mean, look at the amount of buttons. A lot of them are simulated in this. Maybe not to the most defined extent, but pretty well. So it's a pretty good aircraft. We'll see also in comparison then with the Tupolev 154 that I'll try by Simony Club in another video, and then I'll fly the Kai Tupolev 134. Then we can a bit compare to a certain extent, but I think this holds up pretty well. So let me bring up on my other screen my own checklist for this one, because I like to do that for the Russian ones, since I can't really go by eyesight alone. So first things first, we want to start the batteries. So the 4 battery switches go down. Of course you can't, push one of them at once. They, we press and all 4 goes down, but I kind of understand that limitations. I mean, it makes sense just to speed things up a bit. Then you do the transformer switches 2 and 3 up. Love this coloring, really gives that spaceship kind of vibe. Then we go to the APU. Sorry, I'm gonna have to jump a bit. Here we go. So the APU switches are here. This is the APU control panel. We'll do the fire protection valve switches, this one. Then we'll start the APU. Probably not this quick in real life. I'm not even sure where it's located, the APU, by just looking at it. But I guess it's somewhere here, maybe like in the fuselage itself. Or I guess all APUs are in the fuselage, but like maybe somewhere in the middle, right, at the wider parts of it. And now we got the ready switch here. It's green, lit up, which means it's ready. You can also see the gauges up here. what I'm gonna do is go to the electric panel. Yeah, it has a lot of viewpoints, it takes a bit of time to kind of go through all of them. We'll switch the APU generator switches on, which are these two. And you can see the voltage and all these going up. Then we have the battery switch, which we should switch up to auto, not manual, but auto. I used to know the Russian alphabet, but I've forgotten it, but this one makes sense, right? So that should be now on auto. We should do transformer switch 1 and 4 up. There we go. And then I think we can wait a bit, and I'm just gonna go here and actually put on some of the lights. So let me have a look at which ones we could put on. I'm gonna put on the beacon one and the navigation lights, so we get some lights on this beautiful aircraft. We're not gonna use, as I said earlier, GSX, but we're not gonna use PAC-X either. So I guess we won't see our landing rate, but hopefully it's good enough. And yeah, this Simwings Hamburg scenery is really beautiful, so that's a big plus. Let's check though if there is a... I'm trying to... It's too small. So what happens if I do request boarding? Oh, it's a passenger. Yeah, so it doesn't really have any sort of... I'm just gonna reset my position. You can see the flaps are down. I'm not sure why that is. Could be, of course, that they keep them down while they're taxiing, but not 100% sure. Let's just do Eurowings. That looks like a tiny little pushback tug, but okay, might be sufficient. Let's go back here to the engineer panel. I'm gonna find where I was in the manual. So the next step is to turn the switches on here. I'm not sure really what the switches are. It didn't say in the manual, but I assume it's related to the gauges to some extent, because you see them. They should at least be turning on when you switch them, at least some of them. Then the fire protection valves, and then we should go to the fuel, and this is the fuel panel. And here, if I'm not mistaken, you wanna... Let me see, something is off now. Something is not looking correct actually. But what is it that's messing with our... it's not that. That should be up. Those should be tripped. Battery switch should be auto. Yeah, the APU generator should be on. I'm trying to figure out why these fuel valve switches are, well, basically shut down. I can't believe it would be the lights, right? Those wouldn't or those shouldn't at least affect. Those should be on. I'm not really sure actually about these. That one. That's the one I missed. Sorry about that, guys. Small mistake actually. There we go. So now these should be, because you want all of these on the fuel valves. Trying to figure out what else I should actually. Yeah, we need to have the boost pumps as well. Let's see if we do it like this. Trying to figure out this one. This is why you shouldn't play around too much. Let's check if we can get these. The boost pump should be on, these should be on. Hopefully this should be enough to start it, but let's see. And we can actually now, because now we're getting to the engine start. And I think what we can do here is actually now start closing all the doors we have open, including the cargo. Whilst we wait for that, hopefully the engine start won't be messed up. Let's do pilot to ADC as well and make sure that that's set up. So we're going to import our Simbury flight plan to Amsterdam. We're going to do our config. And I'm going to call us Antonov with our normal flight tail number of 4003. We are going to put a SID. And we are departing. I'm actually trying to... Wait, let me check. We are departing runway... runway 15 and then 18 right is the one we'll go to. So runway 15, no SID, approach 18 right. Let's do vectors and ILS. Let's connect to the sim. We should get 80s. Let's, because I still haven't been able to figure out how to get the sounds of the in-game ATC working, but or not working, to get rid of it. So we'll just have to make do with what we have, aka closing it for each video. Antonov 4003, ready to copy IFR clearance. Oh, I didn't file it, damn it. Antonov 4003 heavy, ready to copy IFR clearance. Yeah, there we go. This is in meters. So let's... luckily I have my Logitech panel, which will show it actually in feet, so that's pretty good.
Antonov 4003 Heavy is cleared to Echo Hotel Alpha Mike as filed.
We'll have to remember that
Climb
squawk.
and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Radar director on 118.2. Squawk 6602.
6602 is our squawk. So let's remember that.
Altimeter is 2988. Let us know when you are ready for pushback.
Altimeter is 2988 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
2988, we have HPA, I'm guessing we have, I'm gonna move this yoke so we can see. Yeah, we have the Russian system, I think, for the... So let's have a look. I'm trying to think which one would be best to check. Maybe active sky is the safest bet, right? So 1013. Then we're getting that one right, so that's good. Everything is closed, so that's nice. And let's see if we can get that pushback working. I'm trying to think if in real life they would usually start the engines before doing the pushback, but we are gonna ask for it anyway. We still have a lot of setup to do though, so this is just, I guess, the way with the Russian aircraft that they do set up some things after you start the engines. Would probably go a lot faster with a bigger crew than just me, right? So let's see here. If we're doing runway 15, I'm trying to figure out which runway that is. Let's have a look at pilot to ADC, maybe that can show us quite nicely. So runway 15, we would want to go to the left actually. Then we have a long taxiway ahead of us. Yeah, so to the left, forward, and then to the left. And let's see if this little pushback. I can't see that little tug truck moving yet, but let's see. While we wait, let's set this up. I think we'll start these engines first. I think you start it with 2 engines. So these are the 2 on the right side, and this one, and then those 2. Not sure that follows the correct procedures, but should work. Now the toe. Okay, it does connect kind of nicely. Looks a bit small, but you know, maybe it has the strength to push this beast. I'm wondering where they're gonna push us back though. Yeah, lock them gears. Nose left. Okay, and we are releasing parking brakes. Yeah, one thing, it didn't have like the external GPU thing, so that was, I guess, a bit of a oversight, but not the worst. And let's see now if I do start the engines. It does look like it's spooling up. And let's see if I release it. If it does actually start. I don't know why these fuel systems get always so messed up for some reason. Let me try again actually. That's really annoying. So if I do this. Because I have them on, but I... Just for some reason I can't get it to work as intended now. Luckily we haven't gotten that far. So I'm thinking what we could do is do, we're just gonna quickly turn everything to off. And let's just do this again. Like the steps are not that bad to have to kind of redo. Let's just wait till we get the green light there. And let's have a look here if we can. For some reason that's still stuck with the fuels. I don't get them. Oh. Oh. I see the problem. I see the problem. So basically we lost all our fuel. So I'm gonna go back up to 40%. Let's see if we have that fuel now. Now we have that fuel. Okay. This kind of explains the firewall should be on as well. I think everything else is set up correctly. So what we need to do, gonna set parking brakes, is we need to start the systems now. And that would explain why we didn't have this working. Nothing is starting now, that's good. Let's see now if we can get that. I mean, now the fuel is 0 again. So what's going on? There we go. 38, 34. What's happening? The fuel is just disappearing for some reason. But I can't figure out what the reason for that is. Unless of course we have some tank open or something. In order to not have to pull the plug on this aircraft, we'll do a kind of reset just to quickly get the aircraft to load in. We'll just do the same kind of starting procedures. We'll also have a look at the fuel and payload, see if we can finally get it actually to work. Let's do 40. Still looking good as of now, so hopefully this will work. Then we'll start the APU. So that's a bug actually. I now have a faint recollection of it happening before, but it was a while ago. So let's see if we are getting that APU ready. The generators for the APU. Like that, we should have done it. We should have done those before we did the battery switch to auto. Then I'm gonna quickly check again on fuel and payload. Still looking good. And now, final check. Still looking good. We're putting these on, so the fuel pumps or the booster pumps, and yeah, fuel looking good this time. Okay, we'll open that. Yeah, well, those are on. Now we'll start with the right engine. So let's see. Once we press this, it's starting up. Oh, we should have done the fuel protection valve. So well, let's start this engine just first. Just make sure it works. Yeah, there we go. And let's just have a quick look at the fuel. Yeah, now it's looking more reasonable. The protection valves should be on. And I'm quickly just gonna do a final check. Yeah, still look reasonable enough. Then I am gonna open up my checklist again. Just make sure that we are following all of these correctly. There we go, we should have those on as well. And one final check just to make sure nothing. Oh, look at that. We are losing fuel like crazy. So what's going on here?
Orange 40 Whiskey, Shadow 7 behind KLM Cargo on the left hand side. Shadow 7 behind KLM Cargo, Orange 46 Whiskey.
This is really an odd issue. For some reason it just starts to devour all the fuel in the aircraft. That's really odd. Let's switch to another Ukrainian version. Maybe the best way is to not actually go into this. I'm gonna check if there is their own some sort of explanation with the fuel for why it's acting up like that, but I doubt there's gonna be one. I do have their manual open though. Nothing though about why. Oh, sorry, fuel dump valve. I know exactly now why we are losing. This is the fuel dump valves. These number 4 down here. So let's not press those. Let's change back to the aircraft we had selected. The manuals don't really always make all of these things clear, but at least you should now be on the clear with it. So hopefully we all learned a nice lesson in fuel management. So there we go. Now let's start these once again. We'll start the APU. Luckily we aren't that setback, but we are of course a bit delayed because of these mishaps. Let's see now. Yeah, the APU is ready. Thank God it's quick. We'll do that. These TP1 and TP4. And I'm gonna move this one down so I can have a look at my... So yeah, we put on transformers 1 and 4. We can move that to auto. What we can then do is put all of these on. Now this one is doing good. We just need the fuel booster pumps. We can put these fuel, the firewall. We don't want to dump fuel. Imagine dumping all that fuel. This, yeah, this would look like a pile of oil. And then we can open this, and then we can check these are up. We'll ready those engines, and we'll start them. So let's make sure that they're going up quite nicely. I'm wondering if they start in pairs. Well, let's see. I don't think so. So there we go. That one started nicely. Let's start the next one. I'm just speeding things up. You would want to see them stabilize, in all honesty. I'm not sure if the fuel panel, if you have to tweak anything here in terms of the fuel flows. There we go. So now we have all engines on this side started. Looking pretty good. Pretty nice textures. Quite interesting engines as well. Look a bit old school, which I guess makes sense since it's Russian engines. I'm actually wondering what engines this plane has. Maybe we can see it actually on the... It has turbofans, so that's cool. Progress D18. Okay. So a high bypass turbofan. And it's used also with the Antonov An-225, which is a pretty good, cool aircraft. Let's try starting this engine. Not sure which engine this one is. Oh, it's 3 and 4, so I'm guessing this is either 3. Maybe it's engine number 3. There we go, that one is starting, looking good. And then I think this is a pair, so starting together. I will start that. So engine number 1 and 2. And let's see how it goes. And it's looking good. There we go. So now we have all engines started. You can see some smoke flying out there. Also a good thing to mention, I don't have any payware add-ons in relation to the aircraft itself, immersion or similar. I don't think there is any. There could maybe be a better sound package though. I don't feel like this one has the best sounds, but it's okay. I'm not gonna say it's totally bad, but maybe not like the ones I really think of when I fly this, like damn, this is the best one. Let's see if I can close that box, the engine start box. And then what we can do is go back to our electric panel. So we'll be jumping a bit. So what we'll do first is the generator switches. All of these for the engines. Then the rectifiers. We have 4 of those as well, individual switches. Then the bridge bus up here. And then the generator bridge bus. Voila. Then we'll do these 1 to off. Transformers 1 and 4, and then the APU generators to off. And then we can shut the APU with the same button we started. We can shut the protection valves, or the fire protection valves as well. So there we go. And let me just jump here. Oh, sorry, no, we need to do the hydraulics, because otherwise we won't be able to use our flight controls. You can see them now with the joke, we can't really move them, because we don't have the hydraulics. So the way you do that, the pumps, so 6 of those, and then these 1 to auto, the valve switches. And now, you can see we can move the yoke. So that's pretty cool. And then we can go to our nav panel actually and turn on all these nav panel switches. We can also put on the computer. Now I'm not sure how this one does work. We have flight plan. Because you do have the default GPS, right? So does this one now have a flight plan in it? I haven't used this one in a long time. I should actually have connected the RXP GTN if I really wanted to test this aircraft and see if I could set it up in a nicer way. I could probably do that, because if you remove this with the RXP GTN, you could probably get the RXP GTN nav to work. So that's something for the future to think of. But yeah, it looks like we have it set for Amsterdam, so let's close that. It'll be interesting to try it out. We can move. We can stay now here in the pilot panel, and I think we can start here from the co-pilot. We can start all the switches on his upper right here. We can even start the fan blades. That's pretty cool. Even though the manual says we shouldn't, but oh well. TCAS, yeah, looking good. Fan blades on, yeah. And I think this one is up as well. You can't switch that switch. Then the markers panel, and I think it's this one. You put that on. Then you put on the my god, totally blanking now. Is it the TCAS system, I guess? So we can squawk. We had a 6602, right? So let's get that set in. We can put this to on, then you can see all aircraft if we run into any. Let's also ask for taxi clearance, we don't forget that. Antonov 4003 Heavy, ready to taxi.
Antonov 4003 heavy taxi to runway 15 hold
Yeah,
short runway
good.
15.
Then we can
Taxi
check
to
here.
runway 15 hold short runway
This one says that we're ready
Antonov
for
4003 heavy.
takeoff, but the way it is that it's tied to the flaps. So I'm gonna go flap 0 and then we'll try pressing that again. Next step is to turn on the AP autopilot buses. So this one, these are all turned on, it's for the auto throttle. So now the autopilot should be working. Anything else? Oh yeah, now we can try this just so you see it. It's red, same with the landing one. So it's quite a neat feature to kind of check that you're set up for landing. So we're gonna put down the flaps a bit. You can see the flaps here moving. Should be at 15 degrees. And now it's green. Voila. And that's just telling us that the parking brake is set. So that's why we still have that showing. You can have on the ground low thrust settings. It's to make sure the thrust doesn't kind of, I think, go too low or something like that. Some logic to it. We can use that actually. Let's see, I'm just gonna turn these on. Turn on the GPS as well. This one we will be able to kind of nicely see. I think it has a VXR, but I'm mostly interested in nav mode. Let me see if we can get. If we can zoom out a bit, how it will look. Can you see the flight plan from here? Doesn't look like it. That was what I was hoping to. But you can. Oh, there's the flight plan. Sorry, you can see the flight plan. So that's a pretty neat feature. This one I'm not really sure what to use it. I think it's for this different kind of maps, the airports. I think some are also kind of country showing. I've been thinking of this one maybe switching to something else like the GTN. But let's just remain there. The steering wheel we'll need, so I'm just gonna open there. So that's to do the steering wheel controls. You'll get a warning up. Sorry, too many. You'll get a warning that you have it on here. I guess you want to shut it down. You have the windshield wipers here. I don't think you have windshield rain effects on this one, but not too bad. In terms of the radar though, I wanted to check what the... Okay, yeah, so you have nav, radio beacon presentation. This is the airport one and ILS. And then you have terrain and borders. Okay, so not the most useful one, but okay, pretty okay. At least with this one we can see the flight plan, so that's cool. So let's try to use the nav mode if we can. And that's about it actually in terms of setting the aircraft up. The flight computer, I guess, is supposed to be this one. I think this should actually work like an INS, kind of similar, right? But yeah, let's not stay here in the back too much, since we don't really have anything to add here. And I'm just gonna move back to that pilot seat. Okay, so we have a flight plan to follow. Let's see if I can. God, felt something in my throat. Not the best. Let's see, so the landing lights, this should be the taxi lights, and we can extend those taxi lights. So now we should have some lights. Not sure about these lights effects, maybe they are true too. I need to try this during the night. We can actually do a quick check to see how it would look by doing a preview. So pretty cool night lights. Not bad. Let's cancel that, go back to our day. Let's see, oh yeah, I forgot to put on all the other lights, right? Nav. We can have a logo, and then the strobe. So now if we do the night check, it should look quite a bit nicer. Or at least a bit nicer. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Anything else? Strobe light switch, we need to remember that. But nothing else I think up here, so I'm gonna keep the autopilot panel open on the side so I can kinda make sure that I follow that. And I'm gonna check if we have like a nav setting. There we go. So if I do press 9er, that's heading. Trying to figure out how to get this on localizer or similar. We can actually use the heading select for a while. I'm gonna remove this one. This is the heading select kind of knob, but I'll use my pilot to ADC one to set that nicely. We should be turning a bit to the left actually. Once we get, but hopefully we'll get good good information from the ATC. I'm gonna start taxiing now. Oh yeah, we need to do this ground. I wanna try this out. See how these work, and let's see how much thrust we need to get going. Okay, we're gonna need quite a bit of thrust. There we are, starting to roll. Okay, looking good. We can probably decrease the thrust a bit. Don't want to go too fast. Oh, we're barely clearing this this area. This is a huge aircraft. One thing I actually wanted to point out is a bit sad. I mean, I love the 225, but they haven't done the other version, right? The smaller one, the 124, because that one is, you know, this is so niche, right? There's only one aircraft, and now it's destroyed, right? So it's, you know, you don't have, and it's so niche in terms of its size as well, so you don't have as many ops you can do with it. So I was a bit wondering why FlyFreeStd didn't do a 124 model as well. Or maybe they are doing one, but I think that one would sell quite a bit more than the 225. Let's see, we need some more thrust. Let's see if we are gaining some now. This is a chunky aircraft. I also need to have a look at our limitations once we get, but whilst we are taxiing, I'm gonna have a look at how to get the nav. I think actually you should be able to get it through one of these. So that should be CRS1, which is correct. Oh, I see. You need to set some AP sync button. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that in action. Well, let's see. So AP slash, that's button number 9. So that's here. Okay, so if you tweak a bit here, that's how you can kinda kind of get the nav mode right. Let's see, left is clear, right is clear, yeah, okay. We can taxi. I should have put on the landing lights as well, so small mistake. Look at that, that's a 707. Cool. Probably been standing there for quite a few years. I wonder if it's still there. Okay, and now I'm wondering, CRS, set frequency of desired beacon. All that we can do, I think. We know that we're going to 117.45, 228. 117.45. I think we're turning. Oh, sorry, a bit of lag. Let's see. We are turning to on the first one to the left there. So we need to go to runway 15. So it's a bit of a road left. So let's turn here. There's a beautiful Condor 757. Not sure if they still fly those, but hopefully they do. Always nice to see some variety. Okay, and we are turning a bit steep, but better safe than sorry. Trying to think what airplanes we still have in terms of P3D and Russian aircraft. Well, we have the good Tupolev 154 by Simoniclab, the Kai 134, and then we do have the EL62, I think by Project Tupolev, or Rico, who's hosting it now. And that one is pretty good. In terms of navigation system, I think that one has some sort of IRS system. Or Sivains, sorry. Sivains. That's the name of that. Some Russian version of that. Okay, on front left HSI, select the beacon. Okay, we can select the beacon. That makes sense, I guess. What was our course we were going to be tracking? I think that was 228. Now I didn't check if there was anyone on the left or the right, but I'm gonna assume there wasn't any. We can close the window actually, let's not forget that. Or both windows. Okay, let's change the course to 228. And you can see I'm changing it through the Logitech panel because it's a bit quicker. So 228. Oh, there's a Ryanair, I think, that landed. Let's try to get to the right before it. We are faster, we're bigger. We should give room for us. I think that's how the sea rules are actually. So if you're a bigger boat, you have the right of way. Because the smaller one would always usually have it easier to kind of avoid that, to avoid a bigger boat. Looks like there is a bit of a queue there. 3 different aircrafts. My. What do we have? Marabou, British Airways, and Icelandic. Is that Iceland? I think so. Yeah, Icelandair. Okay, cool. Let's see. We still seem to have clearance. Now, let's see if I can get this. It's still doing heading mode. So we have set that on our mode. So what's the issue? Select desired beacon. Yeah, okay, we can select that. Maybe. No, still heading mode. We did turn on the sync button, I hope. Let me see though that I didn't do the wrong button for the sync. And that's button 9, and that looks correct. You have these max pitch buttons as well. Could be nice to have those. those on a max bank angle just for safety measures, but I'm guessing these are for the autopilot, right? So it doesn't turn too crazy. So not for us. It's not like the Airbus, which will have kind of limitations, right? When it's in normal law. Okay, so attention on all its functions to work. Yeah, it's on. But I'm not too lucky with this. What's that one then? Let me see. Still heading mode. We can have the VR on though, so we kind of see what we should be tracking. Well, let's see once we're up in the air how this will go. Oh, I'm turning a bit too much now. Being a bit too eager. We should hopefully have gotten the tower handovers, or we are getting it soon, I assume. Yeah, quite interesting being behind the A3. I think that's the A320 or the A319. So one of the most built airplanes of all time, with the one and only Antonov An-225. Let's see, what else do we need to set? Oh yeah, we can now set the landing lights, because we're here, and the strobe lights. Antonov 4003 Heavy, ready for takeoff. I hold short. Yeah, because of the Q, right? Let's see if there's any airplane.
Up and wait, runway 15 Antonov 4003
Nobody seems to be coming in
Heavy.
for a landing at least, so that's good news. I'm actually gonna remove this thing, so I don't forget. Then we need to remove the ground steering as well.
Antonov 4003 heavy winds are 107 and 17 knots cleared for takeoff.
Trying to figure out. Yeah, I don't think wake turbulence is gonna do too much to our aircraft, but thank you for the for being extra cautious.
For takeoff. Runway 15 squawking 6602, maintain runway heading until above 1100 feet, then right to 260.
Trying to figure out this annunciator panel. What's wrong? But let's see. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. And let's see before we start our long takeoff roll. We do want to keep VR1 just so we can see where we're heading. In terms of heading, we can also set that a bit so we're a bit prepared. We're clear for takeoff, maintain runway heading until about 1000, and then turn right to 260. Okay, let's follow their vectoring. That's the autopilot. Well, I think we are ready to try. Not sure what this button does. I don't know why I pressed that, but I guess that's worth a shot. Trying to think what else. We've checked our altimeter. V1 speeds and those are pretty good to check. So for maximum flap, we have a speed of 410 kilometers per hour. We need to take care of that. For V1, 280. Rotate, dry runway, 295. We're a bit less though. I would say we're quite heavy still. Now we're a bit less, so it's 275. So 265 for V1, 275 for rotation, V2 305. Okay. I don't think we have auto brakes, but we have set everything else, flaps and such. So we should be should be ready. I think those are at 15. We can pitch up a bit. I'm not sure what the maximum pitch you're allowed to have. But let's put a bit, so we're on the safe side. And then we go. Oh yeah, no, we don't go. We do this. Shut the nose. And these, what are these though? Let me just check so we're not doing something that could end up in disaster. So those are the overhead warning lamps. And those are warning us for... That's 3 steps in, so number 6, hydraulics. Is that hydraulics failure? Doesn't look like we have a failure. What could it be otherwise then? So on 13, no glide slope signal. That's why. Okay, so just a warning, cautionary sign. Let's keep that on. Okay, let's go. Going to toga. I'm just gonna press this to the fullest. I'm not sure exactly what the settings are in terms of thrust, but we don't wanna end up having troubles in that regard, so we're just gonna go full toga, blasting those engines. We're already 200 knots. V1, rotate. We have a positive rate of climb. I'm gonna have to push forward a bit. Gears coming up. Let's pull back a bit on the throttles. We are climbing 400 feet. Let's push back. We're gonna overspeed with the flaps, so I'm gonna push back quite a bit with the throttles. We're also almost overspeeding in terms of let's see, there we go. We are above 1000, so we can turn to the right. Yeah, we are going super fast.
4003 heavy.
Or super fast, that's a bit. Well, we're going almost 300 knots. I don't know how we can go this fast though. I really pulled down on the throttles.
Climb to flight level 100 Antonov 4003 heavy. Climb
Okay,
to
flight
flight
level
level
1.
180 radar director on 118.2 Antonov
0.
4003 heavy.
Okay, now we're losing thrust by
Radar
quite a bit.
director Antonov 4003 heavy climbing to flight level 180.
Look at Hamburg looking very nice indeed, with the smoke coming out of the chimneys. And this is our huge aircraft, flying beautiful.
Climb and maintain flight level 180 Antonov 4003 heavy.
180. I mean, we're climbing like a rocket. Nah, not really. I'm having to push down a bit. I don't want us to climb too fast. I need to trim it out a bit also, this plane. So now we are descending actually, which we don't want to do. There we go. Now we're climbing again. Okay, and let's have a look now if we can get this to work. So, autopilot on.
Expedite climb
Heading
to flight level
mode
180
selected.
Antonov 4003 heavy.
Altitude selected. We want to do vertical speed. Nothing too crazy though. So let's see if the vertical speed is... Yeah, it's looking quite reasonable, nothing too crazy. And I would want to follow the VOR, but of course we've had the issue of how to follow that, right? Oh, that's nav. Hey, look at that. Let's see if this one will follow the VR or what's gonna happen. That's interesting though. But is it now nav or is it localizer mode? Look at that though.
Antonov 4003 heavy contact Bremen center on 125.1.
I have no clue which one it's connected to
Center
now.
on 125.1. Take care Antonov 4003 heavy.
But that's good. Okay, so we have the nav. So let's go and check quickly on our manual what the
Center Antonov 4003 heavy climbing to flight level 180.
what settings are on.
Antonov 4003 heavy, good afternoon.
So this is the front left panel. And actually one way to check let's check just what feet we are at now. We're at 5,000. We can climb a bit higher or a bit more. I'm gonna put some thrust in. But whilst we're doing that, I'm just gonna quickly check, because you can do this. I mean, if you don't like the Russian, you can change to English. And then here you can see, so here you can see the different things a bit better if you want it in English, right? So you know what the different labels are saying. I'm gonna keep it in Russian because I think when you put it in English, you also change some of these settings, right? It's showing in feet and stuff, which I guess makes sense, but I'd rather keep the Russian just because I'm used to that when flying the Russian aircrafts. Okay, we're still climbing, gaining some speed now. I think you can also use the auto throttles. I'm just gonna put that at a reasonable speed in case we want to use those. I'm not sure they are that good, to be honest. We don't need to have the landing lights anymore. Sorry, not, yeah, the landing lights. We don't need those because we're gonna be climbing far enough. There we go. We can stop extending them. What we don't need is the... I'm trying to think. So that's one VOR. If you remove that, then those... I want to see actually what that's in English. What's the difference between this VR? So one is CAR, one is set. Okay, so just a small difference. Still climbing nicely. I'm gonna increase again our vertical speed and our thrust. Here you can see how many kilometers we have to the next VOR. In nautical miles, that's about 56 nautical miles. And actually I'm interested now in seeing what does all these different buttons say in English. Turn on side, sync HSI, you can display glide slope, ground speed, indicated airspeed, I guess. So if we go back to Russian, this is ground speed, right? Approach. Let's skip that for now. Yeah. When we're really going too fast now, we're gonna be overspeeding. I'm actually wondering though, where's our speed indication? Our indicated airspeed is now Oh, we don't have an indicator. Or maybe the probe. Where's the probe heats, right? So the window heating switch, that's this one, right? But not turned on pitot heating. Okay, so would be good to find where's the heating switch for the pitot probes. Anti-ice panel, it's not here, but it's by the engineer station, so it's here. That's for engines, oil, pitot heat is number 5, these ones. Is there a reason why I can't put this on? I'm just gonna quickly have a look again at our... we need to increase our speed quite a bit. We'll soon be at 18,000 feet. No clue why these are not selectable. Like, is there a specific way you need to go about it? Potentially they are on now. Well, let's keep a look on that, because that could be a bit nasty, right? If we get that icing, we'll lose our indicator airspeed and that sort of stuff. What was our altitude supposed to be? 180, so we should soon be at our cruising altitude. Actually, it's not a long flight, this one. Hamburg and Amsterdam ain't that far away. And actually, one way to check now for what we're following, like, are we following the VOR or are we following the... and I think we're following the GPS actually. So let's test that. We're gonna put in the VR for Skipskol. So 18.40. So what's happening now? We're still following the VR, right? Let's try to switch the course to 252. Still no turn. So we are actually following the nav. So that's good to know. Now, if we would want to follow the VR, we do that. Or are we? Let me see. I'm gonna change the heading as well. I don't think that needs to be the same. Oh, and I can't change the heading because it's connected, right? So that should be 2.8 kinda ish. So let's give it another try soon. Because we should soon be turning to the right. Now the course seems to be set right. We're at our cruise altitude. Ooh, we're overspeeding. That's never a good sign. Gonna turn down the throttles a bit. And what we can do now... oh god, we're overspeeding like crazy. Well, maybe we're that light actually, since we don't have that much fuel. Should have taken that into consideration. We are slowing down now, albeit slowly. Okay, now we're turning with that. But let me see if we do the same turn with the VR on. So if we do VR1 here, let's see if it will now follow that. And I'm actually gonna check the settings quickly here. So now we're at nav. Should we now be following the nav? Interesting, to put it lightly. Because now it seems like we're more trying to track the VR actually. So it's like opposite, like nav stands for course, while course 2 stands for nav. Yeah, look at that. We're now getting on the VR. These kind of small things I really dislike because it makes it hard to remember when you haven't flown the plane in a while. You forget small quirks. And then it's just nice if you know that it works.
Antonov 4003 Heavy, you are off course. Turn left heading 235 to return to course. Heading 235 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
We're off course, but let's see if we turn to the left. That's gonna be a key.
Antonov 4003 Heavy, turn left heading 235. Heading 235 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
Why aren't we turning left though? So this doesn't seem to be the right... I'm gonna test the approach one. See what that does. Okay, I'll go heading mode. Let's see with this. So that one will probably give us a heading. Okay, now we're almost driving too slow. I'm gonna go back to the Russian one. Sorry about that, guys. Haven't had a chance to look at the limitations yet, right? Okay, maybe if we don't do that one for the sync, then we do that. Okay, let's have a look at this. Now we're doing nav, but we don't have them synced. So are we now doing the VR? That's the question. Let me have a look. We should now be turning with to the left. Looks like we are. Okay, good. So this sync one is what kind of determines. Okay, that's good to know. So we would still be course 2. Then we can sync with here to get the nav. So that's nice. Now we can really make some nice flight plans with this. Okay. Now I'm getting the aircraft. And now I need to write that down somewhere as well so I don't forget it. Let's see. So first off, we need to write down the thing about the lower fuel pumps. Because I'm gonna do that mistake again.
Heading 235 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
Let me see if I can get this.
Antonov 4003 Heavy, expedite your turn left heading 235. Heading 235 Antonov 4003
Okay, and now to
Heavy.
try this out, we do the sync. That should put us to follow the nav, if I'm not mistaken, right? We can do it like that. Let me see. Not following the nav. It's not making it easy.
Antonov 4003 Heavy.
It's really not... Okay, if we do nav like that... No, that's... That's maybe no. Maybe if we don't sync them, does it now want to turn into the nav mode? Let's just have a look. Nah, still nothing. Okay, that's not good.
Antonov 4003 Heavy, expedite your turn left heading 235. Heading 235 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
Okay, so that's... This autopilot is a bit tricky. Not crazy tricky, but you know, trying to figure it out. Gonna have a quick look again. 9 is APHSI sync. Okay, so if we sync, and then go like that. Nope. Because we're a bit off now, right? From the VR. That's not good. Once again we have the errors, that's... But now these, I'm not sure about these ones. Oh, it's because we have the VR with no glide, right? So if we do like that, yeah, then we get rid of those. Okay, these seem to just be for the HSI, not actually what we're following. So that's good to be aware of. Gonna give a bit more trust to us, nothing crazy.
Antonov 4003 Heavy, expedite your turn left heading 235. Heading 235 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
So now we're back on heading mode. Let's force the heading a bit to the left. Just so we get back to our... So we get the ATC to stop complaining at us. Look at these clouds though, this doesn't look too good. They do look a bit weird though, a bit see-through though, so that's a bit interesting. Gotta blame Rex Skyforce. I'm still not sure about this actually. Let's go back to heading mode and think about it a bit. In terms of our limitations up in the cruise, we don't have information on that actually. We only have the limitations for takeoff and the landing ones. So that's around 280, 216 miles, kilometers per hour. Touchdown speed 230 kilometers per hour. So that's about what we know in that regard. What does this one do? Maybe I'm checking the wrong autopilot. I need to, you know, or I guess this is the autopilot computer, but then we have the normal autopilot. Need to figure this one out. It'll be hard to do it. Sorry about that, guys. It'll be hard to do an ILS landing if we don't have this figured out. Yeah, beautiful looking plane though. Okay, our speed is slowly trickling up, a bit dangerously. Okay, about 20 minutes left of our flight time. We should soon start descending as well. Pulling back a bit on the throttles. let's see if we can not overspeed. That would be nice to avoid. Now it's looking a bit better. I can hear rain now, but I can't see any windshield, so yeah, I don't think there's any rain effects on this airplane. I do though think we once again lost our pitot heats. I need to have a look at that. Maybe I need to put them on when I'm on the ground, because I can't see why they wouldn't be able to put on. So I have all these settings correctly set. Oh, that we don't want to do.
Center Antonov 4003 Heavy at flight level 180.
Yeah, that was not the best. Sorry about that. God.
Antonov 4003 Heavy, climb and maintain flight level 180.
Okay, I need to
Climb
climb.
and maintain flight level 180 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
Okay, we're back to heading, and then we want to go to nav.
Good morning, it's Orange 207, flight level 10.
We do want to climb, so let's.
50 and direct Golf.
God, we're almost stalling. We should be okay. Let me have a look though. Maybe that reset helped us a bit, but nope. So what do you need to get? There we go. Voila, we have the pitot heats. I right clicked them, that worked. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. Some of these click spots are a bit off. Or at least a bit hard to kinda spot. Okay, we're flying nav now. We should soon be back on our course. Yeah, looking good. We're in some pretty nasty storm weather. You can see the dark smoke coming out of the engines. I'm really pushing them to the limit. We should now soon be at our cruising altitude again. So I'm gonna decrease a bit our speed. Let's start with 80 and then let's see what happens. And now we should be getting, yeah, now it's looking good again. Sorry about that. At least we're able to fix the pitot heats. I need to write that somewhere as well. Let's have a look quickly at that panel actually, and I'm gonna take a quick sniping tool of that.
Center on 119.17 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
Copy that to my own little guide.
Center Antonov 4003 Heavy at flight level 180.
I highly recommend for you guys, if you have aircrafts like the Russian ones, they're a bit difficult to do kind of your own guides on them. It really helps. So right click, get pitot heat, plus anti-ice.
Heading 235 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
Okay, I think we're supposed to be descending now. Let's see. Heading 2350. We're soon at our top of descent. We're overspeeding a bit now, but we should be stabilizing soon. Yeah, we're really in some storm. I don't know how I didn't check my flight radar for this. Or storm and storm, but in some bad weather. Yeah, rain and thunder. I guess this is why you need a weather radar. Hey, we do have one, but it's only showing our, the wind, basically on the ground. It's not the best. Maybe I should actually incorporate a weather radar on this one. That might be the best alternative. Okay, so the autopilot is having issues when it is in kind of turbulent air like this. So this is not the best autopilot, and I know of course my active sky settings, but I did tweak them so you wouldn't have these issues, but I mean, flying through a thunderstorm is never a good idea. And this is why. Okay, descent to flight level 140.
Antonov 4003 heavy.
So let's do 140. Then we can start descending. We'll pull back on the engines quite a bit. We'll go to... I'm not sure if you can go to idle with this, so let's keep a bit of thrust.
Heading 320 Antonov 4003 heavy.
320, we can do that. Wait, what? Turning right? Turn right, heading 320? That makes absolutely no sense. We should be turning left to get back on our flight path. Hopefully we'll soon be out of this weather, but I'm not too hopeful. I was hoping to see some of the nice Dutch landscape. Okay, still looking good. Descending to 14,000 feet. Hopefully we'll be out of this weather soon. Oh, yeah, those windows shouldn't be open. Bad click spot for that. Quite easy to open them in flight. Which shouldn't even be possible, right, if it's pressurized? But oh well.
Descend to flight level 100 Antonov 4003 heavy.
No, now we're totally off with our heading. So let's turn to the right so we can get back on our track, so to speak. Let's close windy as well. I think we have enough good information. But yeah, we really went right through the worst of the weather. Should have planned for that, but I've been too much focusing on this autopilot. One of the fun things with flight sim is that you can get kind of really thinking about the how the plane is working, trying to figure that out. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's annoying, but you still do it, or at least I do. Let's have a look here. It's looking good with the flight plan. We can keep airport on as well. We're descending to flight level. Let's go back to that VOR. We're descending to 10,000 feet. And in preparation of that, I'm also gonna give us a bit more thrust. And I'm gonna extend our landing lights. I'm hoping the weather is better at our destination, but let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't. But hey, one can never stop hoping. Let's see if we have the minimums. I think this is the speed one. No, this is the minimum one, sorry. In meters though, my god.
Descend to flight level 050 Antonov 4003 Heavy.
050. Okay, we can do that. Let's throttle down a bit. 050. There we go. The only way I'm able to pinpoint the meters is by looking at my Logitech multi-tool panel to kind of see what its suggestion is. Okay, let's throttle down a bit more so we're beneath. It's around 470, right? Kilometers per hour, that's around 250 knots. The runway we're landing is runway 18 right. So let's have a look at runway 18 right. The localizer is 110 110.100. The minimums are as much as 128. That's not that many meters. 128 for the minimums. Transition altitude is 5,000, no, 3,000 feet at least according to this old chart. And then course is as much as 182, right? Yeah, that makes sense. (182 degrees). Good. We have necessary information. Let's hope we get that vectoring. This is gonna be a long flight though, already looking at the stats. Okay, let's add a bit thrust, not much, but just a tiny bit. We haven't used the auto throttles. Those could of course be helpful. I think it's basically if you press this one, that should be the auto throttles, but now I'm not sure actually. And here we can start to see finally the Netherlands below us. So looking pretty good. And now we're getting the origin as well. I think it's a bit delayed because we're going a bit fast there at certain points. Okay, we're still descending to 5,000 feet. Zero 50. Let's actually put this on a heading so we can continue to fly. but without having the to keep track of the course. And then we can actually prepare our ILS 110.10. We can prepare our course 182.
Antonov 4003 heavy contact skidfall approach on 131.15. Good day.
Approach on 131.15 Antonov 4003 heavy.
Oh no, now I really messed up. 2, 5,
Approach
2.
Antonov
That should be the one.
4003 heavy descending to flight level 050.
Antonov 4003 heavy, good afternoon.
Should soon be at our flight level. Looks like we are. For some reason these power plants are see-through through the clouds. That's a bit interesting. Can I see anything to the right? Nope. Oh, because that's water, right? We're actually flying over these areas that the Dutch have kind of reconquered from the sea. This one is one of those, and this one is one of the other ones. This one I think was built later, so it's a bit smarter with some water going around it instead of like this one, which doesn't have that. So that's just a fun fact of today. Okay, 050, we're still descending. We're still a bit off our... Let's zoom in quite a bit now. Let's do 5. Let's try to get on that flight plan that we have scheduled. Okay, let's see. No landing lights or such that we need to tweak. Let's remember that this nose wheel steering once we get down on the ground. Anything else? Oh, speed. We need speed. Look at that. Nothing crazy, but a bit of thrust. So we're gonna stall otherwise. Our descent stopped, so that's why you need to add. Sucks that we can't really see anything because of the... And I'm actually worried a bit. Because what's the visibility? It's pretty bad visibility, guys. This might be tricky. This actually might be tricky. Specifically with this one, I don't know how to do it. I have the approach one, right? But will that follow the glide slope? I'm not sure. 1002. Let's put that in so we have that. So we're actually lower than we think. We should soon be back on our flight plan. Here we can see kind of our elevators moving and that sort of things. But while we're thinking, we should soon be starting to get vectored. I hope at least. But they're really delayed with those vectors. I'm not a big fan of Pilot ADC vectoring. Sometimes it works marvelous and sometimes it works awful. Let's actually go, whilst we're thinking, let's go back to the English one just because I want to have a check. So that could be synced. We have the approach one. That should be twice to the right. Okay, so the thing we want to check whilst we wait for the vectoring is just if... Let's give it a bit more speed, not too much. Is what's the... Let me have a look quickly. What's the suggestion from the manual on how to set this up properly? Flight plan. Oh, here is good actually, now I'm finding it. Interesting though, flight plan has the same explanation, like navigation and heading bug has the same explanation for how to fly that through the autopilot. That makes no sense. I guess the only separate... oh, it's not even the HSI sync. Here to select nav. And approach. OB1 or OB2, we should set our desired course button. Okay, then approach. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So let's just have a look if there's some specific let me have a look. So on navigator panel, this must be course, and that's set, so that's automatic connected through basically the one that we have set. That's good to see. Okay, then I think we can do the approach. Not as worried anymore. Oh, we need to slow down a bit. We also need to turn a bit to the right to make sure we are still on track. We are on the right frequency though, but we haven't heard. Let me switch frequency just to check if...
Contact approach on 131.1, approach Antonov 4003 heavy at flight level 050.
Yeah, are we getting any... Oh, I know the problem. The problem is that we have the VR that we're following, right? So it's gonna get us to that, and then it's gonna vector us in. That makes sense.
Antonov 4003 heavy resume navigation.
Yeah, I
Resume
will.
navigation Antonov 4003
Resume navigation.
Antonov 4003 heavy track right heading 335 vectors to
335.
Heading 335 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 18 right, maintain flight level 050 Antonov 4003 heavy.
And we're gonna need to turn more actually, because they... it's always a bit delayed. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So basically they should give us this around here, right? So that we turn nicely into it. Not here, so we have to go back to it. It just doesn't add up, right? But oh well. I think we'll be able to turn back and then turn inbound for the ILS approach. Everything should be fine. In the end, at least. But now that I'm starting to get a hang of this aircraft, I'm starting to appreciate it more actually. It does make sense, even though some things were a bit fiddly. The one thing I'm wondering, where will we be able to see the glide slope? I'm guessing here, right? But let's see, it'll be interesting. In terms of minimums, we can have that really low, right? Something like 40 meters.
Antonov 4003 heavy turn left heading 265 descent to 3000.
And we need to turn more to the right actually.
Heading 265 descent to 3,000 feet. Altimeter is 29er59er Antonov 4003 heavy.
Descent to 3,000 feet.
Antonov 4003 heavy heading is 210. You are 7 nautical miles north of Schiphol Airport. Fly heading 210 descent to 2,000 feet cleared for ILS to runway 18 right contact tower on 119.22 EHAM.
Fly heading 210 descend to 2,000 feet cleared for ILS approach to runway 18 right tower on 119.22 Antonov 4003 heavy.
So I'm not really following their guidance now, because we would have been turning in too steep. I've never been able to make that turn, so I'm doing a right turn to get a bigger circle to kind of turn through. And we need to go that need to be at like 182, right?
Antonov 4003 heavy contact tower on 119.22.
Contact
like
tower
that.
on 119.22 Antonov 4003 heavy.
I still think we'll have a hard time making this turn actually. We're turning so slow.
Tower Antonov 4003 heavy inbound for ILS approach runway 18 right. Antonov 4003 heavy continue ILS to runway 18 right call when established on final. Continue ILS approach to runway 18 right will call when established on final Antonov 4003
Now we're going directly
heavy.
towards our course. We need to be turning much faster than this. We're not crazy off. We are enough off that it will be tight. Come on, as long as we can turn enough. Ugh, tight. Let's go to approach. Let's see how this will work. It's still turning us to the left, so that's good news. And we are descending, but we should be descending to below 2,000. We can do 2,000, 1,300 actually. Let's do that. Okay, let's get ready for this landing. Let's see, we're quite good. I think here we're seeing and there we'll see the glide slope. So that's nice. We can slow down a bit. Start dropping the gear.
Altimeter is 29er59er Antonov 4003 heavy.
And it's trying to get us on the right course, but not doing the best job with that. But of course we missed it a bit, we overshot it. We can already go to flaps 15. And once we reach even lower, we're beneath 4, we can go to flaps 25. And once we're below 390, we can go to flaps 35, which should be our maximum. We are below that, so let's go to full flaps. Let's have a look. It looks like we are aligned nicely. Let's give it a try, shall we? Try to land this bugger. I'm just gonna let it stabilize a bit more and make sure we don't lose too much speed. So let's give some thrusts. Come on, stabilize on the approach. You can do it. That should be enough. My controls. Okay, and now we'll try to bring down this fat lard. Come on.
Antonov 4003 heavy winds are 186 at 14 knots, clear to land runway 18 right. Clear to land runway 18 right, Antonov
Oh, and we're a bit
4003
low,
heavy.
so that's never a good sign. Not with a large plane like this, you want to be almost a bit high with the puppies. At least that's what I read some 747 pilot talking. And I guess this is kind of a similar plane to that, right? Quite a high seating position. Okay, let's see. We are getting down. We can slow down quite a bit. Nothing too crazy, but enough. Yeah, let's see. Oh, we landed. Didn't feel like I flared too much though. So let's put on some thrust reversers. I think we can though kinda go all the way down. Because this is gonna be a long goddamn taxi. Let's not do the next one, but the one after this. So yeah, let's see how this one went. But it's, I mean, it's such a chunky airplane, right? So, you know, you feel really stable on the approach. Oh, and now I forgot, of course, to do those. Give us the ability to turn quick enough, and we did get that. Now we need to add some speed. We can also put on these and the APU, get that started. A bit sad that we don't have the rain effects in this one, that would be cool. It does add to the immersion, right? Look at that, kicking up all that water. Now I'm not sure where we should land. I just recalled also we never asked, or we never said that we were established on final, but oh well. Could have been worse. I think it's actually going to be really hard for us. I'm just going to go here with a shortcut, and then I'm going to land, because we really have no point in like setting up GSX. I'm just going to stop here. I'm guessing these are in case there's a lot of traffic, right? Maybe the icing as well. Nah, it doesn't look like the icing pads. So probably just for traffic purposes. So let's actually just stop here. We'll call it a night here. So let's see now. Oh, we overshot it a bit. Not good enough. Let's put on the generators for the APU, and let's just shut off these engines. I think that's the way we can do it, right? That's just the fuel levers, yeah, the cutoff levers. So there we go. Shutting off all engines. What happens if you put them on again? I just realized if we don't have pack X, it doesn't really make a difference if you have them on or not. Okay, they still shut off if you have pulled the plug on them. That's good. That's good to see. But yeah, nice flight. A lot of what should we call it? Non-purposefully, purposedly things happening. So we had a lot of incidents, let's call it that. But nevertheless, we did get a pretty decent flight. So let's have a look with the replay. Sorry for the sound. Let's have a look. So we're here coming in for a landing. Beautiful looking airplane. Just because it's so different, right? It's not, I guess, objectively the most beautiful looking one, but it, you know, it has some sleek features. Okay, so runway 18 right. We're coming down. I mean, look at that. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 wheels on each. My god. And then 4 at the front. Jesus Christ, double. This is almost like a ship with wings, basically. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, we're coming down quite nicely. Quite nicely. Flaring a bit. Oh, there we came down. Okay, so we did come down with the backside first, so to speak. Not with the front wheels. That's good. And here, look at that, the thrust reversers on all 6 engines. That's crazy, man. So yeah, that was a pretty cool, cool flight. And actually, this was my first flight that I've completed with this plane, because I've just never had a reason to fly it. I've been flying these other Russian planes, right? The Tupolev 134, which is my favorite one, and then also the Tupolev 154, which is really nice. So I've never done a flight with this one, but now I might reconsider that. It is in the hull of very good, I would say. Hopefully they'll release an Antonov An-225 as well. That would be cool. Make up for some more flights. And but I think the flight model and everything looked pretty nice on this one. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm not a real pilot, but it seemed reasonably nice. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, even though there were some mistakes in it, but we learned from those. And if you have any questions or comments, yeah, feel free to put them down in the comment section or reach out separately. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.